guys hanging themselves off the front and quite prepared to moderate this. They were on policing duties earlier on, just making sure that the break was sensible. But this is full team, and Mathieu van der Poel saying, right, have a bit of this then.
It's exactly that. I mean, we were wondering whether they were going to take full responsibility or try and coax other teams into helping them, but they've had to do the former, and it's just Sylvain Dillier, the former Swiss champion, who's on the front for Alps and Deceuninck. Here we go.
Here we are.
Mats Pedersen on the attack.
Why not? Now, to me, this offers up a lot of respect to those who are further up the road. And you can see where he's Superman. Look at the big split here, wow. Dan. That is huge. And who's been caught out of note within that group of, what, 20 following on from this?
So here's the sprint then, so Little Trek taking it up on the right-hand side. The bright yellow Visma Lisa bike, very, very quick to react behind. Ideally, you want to go into this climb at worst in 15th or so position.
How about 5th or 6th? Mathieu van der Poel.
Pedersen and Jorgensen once again are taking it up very, very early in this race. I said that Pedersen could not possibly be at 100% after crashing at such high speed just a few days ago. He doesn't look too far from 100%, does he?
Well, the mummy kept coming back, didn't it? And he's swathed in bandages, and he's absolutely going for it. And the daddy, Mathieu van der Poel, is on the back of this trio. That is fabulous. Oh, check it out, Dan.
Well, he's been caught on the back foot here, has Van der Poel. That's quite a large group going up the road, so he's just putting in this dig to make sure he gets across to him. But it just goes to show how quickly this race can change. Here we go then.
Here we go.
Had to be. Well, like the blue touch paper, try and put a fire out, and if you want help, then you may as well help yourself. Nobody capable of going with him. Has he got the legs to deliver it? That's
yes.
The point. And the answer, in very short order, is precisely that. Dan, that was magnificent.
If he's feeling the effects of that crash and thinks he maybe doesn't have the punch to go with Van der Poel when he does go, that he might be better at sort of going when they least expect it, trying to build himself a buffer. Or it's just a desperation move. We just don't know what's running through the head of Mats Pedersen.
He's not going to give up, Mats Pedersen, but he's been out there an awful long time already.
Wow, that is phenomenal. And just look at this. If nothing else, just the idea of it. Just to be able to bridge over after all the work he's done. He's put several fires out. He's been on various lifeboats, I think, today. Mathieu van der Poel says, I'm going to go for this. So difficult at 22% to get going again. Look at that, even if the chain's back on, it's an absolute nightmare. And so it is that Mathieu van der Poel pushes on. Poor old Ivan Garcia has found himself in no man's land, essentially. And that is Jorgensen that's trying to stay with him. This is getting very selective. Jorgensen's back wheels spinning up as well here on the mud and guts, I think you might say. What a horrible scenario. And plenty of others having to dismount as well. That's Matej Mohoric just takes his, swings his leg off. If anybody is in front of you that gets into trouble, you are going to be as well, Robbie. Lose drive, you just got to pick it up and run.
Mathieu van der Poel, he got it sideways as he was putting the power down. Jorgensen was tracking quite well, but had given up about 10 to 12 bike lengths, and the gap has grown again. Mathieu van der Poel over the top. We said that maybe the attack on the Haut de Quarmont was just a tester. See where everybody is. Let them come back right over the Paterberg and wait to the Koppenberg to strike the big blow. 44 kilometres to go. He's now in range and be liking his chances to take it all the way home from here. Even if Jorgensen gets to him, be pretty happy with that situation.
He did it absolutely brilliantly, emphatically. And that's what we're seeing right now. This is a world champion at the absolute top of his game. It may have been a short approach for him to get to this race. This man, he can join a pantheon of greats who've won this race 3 times, Robbie. And it's in his gift at the moment. He's got both hands on the tiller. Amazing. And this man is doing precisely the same on the Timeberg. Absolutely powering his way through, moderating the drive that he's putting through that back wheel. No skittling or skipping from him. Everybody else is, he kind of humbles them.
Just railing every little corner, Mathieu van der Poel. Up onto that bit of bike path, swing back onto the road, and been putting all his cyclocross skills to work, and he's still just giving it everything through these corners.
Wow.
That's another 10 seconds right there.
Unbelievable.
Well, we're about to go on to the Eau de Quaremont for the final time for Mathieu van der Poel. After the Quaremont, the familiar Paterberg, and that is the last climb of the day. So 2 climbs to go.
2 climbs to go. And this man, he's almost an alpiniste on a day like this. He's got his world in his hand. Mathieu van der Poel cannot be stopped, and today was just not going to be such a scenario. He's owned the day, and now he crosses the line, owning our appreciation and our hearts. What a rider, and what a ride. That was absolutely magnificent. This brought me home. He says, no, Mathieu, you brought us home to this position. Absolutely magnificent. Chapeau, sir.
Van der Poel just making his way to the front, right onto the wheel of Wout Van Aert. Nice and steady so far. Not too many riders looking like they want to attack from this situation. And maybe this is Van der Poel's tactic, you know, go to the front, demoralise people from attacking. If he's there, you're not going to want to start an attack with him there. You want to go away from him. And it's time now for the big names to take on the Timeberg. On the left-hand side is Van der Poel, who's already making his move, crunching on the pedals now, trying to get onto the wheel of riders up to the front. Of course, Tom Squinch is also there. Stalven is putting down the pressure on the pedals, and here we go. The world champion taking off on the Timeberg, and at the moment, nobody's able to follow. Pedersen is trying. Van Aert is starting to struggle a little and slip and slide. Trentin is there as well, and Van der Poel is starting to open up a little bit of a gap, Adam Blythe. This man, though, has been getting ready at home in Andorra. He's been racing. He was in the top 10 in San Remo, and he's on the way back. It's Julien Alaphilippe, who takes off from Berchtesgaden. No Van Aert in the picture yet. He's further down. Same with Van der Poel. Only Pedersen can follow, and Van der Poel will be hoping that his teammate Krauw can follow. For the minute, though, just in front of him is where there's a gap. now Van Aert makes his move, and Van der Poel is on his wheel. Amazing how good they both are, not just at the positioning, Adam, but picking the moment of when to make that move across the gap. From Van der Poel, who's on the wheel there. He followed that, and look, Visma Leasebike must chase. This time not Van der Poel making the move himself, it seems, but it is Jorgensen coming across. There's a rider there who looks like it might be Aski, perhaps, from the Groupama FDSU. We'll have to get closer and have a look. And also UAE Emirates are involved. Now Van der Poel goes. He makes his move, and he's trying to bridge across to Pedersen. So Van Aert goes, Girmay follows, Narvaez, that draws out Fred Wright and Julien Alaphilippe. It was indeed Lewis Aski who was in that move. Stefan Kung is towards the back of this group. This now is Pedersen, former world champion to the current man in the rainbow bands. Then you have the Killer Bees. Then you've got Girmay, the winner of Gent-Wevelgem. Van der Poel wants that small group, as you said, a look at this. It's like the United Nations of superstars of cycling. Van Aert is there, Jorgensen, Van der Poel, Girmay, Narvaez and Pedersen. More prizes amongst this lot than all the recent game show winners.
Oh la la.
The group splits once more as Mathieu Van der Poel takes off for the third time in this race. Still 66 kilometres remain, and it's old nemesis Wout Van Aert who makes the chase.
It looks to me like Van Aert's just opening up his engine slowly, coming down from altitude. Sometimes you're that little bit rusty, you know, not quite there. He looks like he's got the power, the endurance, but just not that super sharpness, not that big explosive power yet. He's got to ride into it a little bit, but as I just said, Van der Poel coming to the front of that group, wanting to extend that gap. That's his second attack within 2 minutes. He wants a small group to go. He doesn't want all these riders to contend with. He doesn't want the strength in numbers from other teams.
Now, Van der Poel is following here, Van Aert is following him, and it looks as though that latest move again is going to be called. It's stop-start, it's go away and we'll chase you, and it's all back together again until Matej Moric is the latest to put power through the pedals. And now it's Oyod Lascano's turn to make the move, and look how important the riders think he is now, because he's followed immediately. Van der Poel's there, Van Aert's on his wheel, the Spanish champion is a real engine, and now Van der Poel overtakes.
Same spot as last year, same part of the road on the left-hand side. Van der Poel over the top. Van Aert starting to bob that head right on his limit. This is a full-blown attack. Look at Van Aert on his bike. Van der Poel as well. It's almost that cyclocross style, Rob, where they're almost out the saddle just a little bit, banging down that power, each pedal stroke. And look at the gap. 50, 60, 70 metres, and he's opened up 3-4 seconds easy.
It's Lubert who's been caught at the top, who is in the breakaway for Aker BMW, and it is the terrible twosome. Mathieu Van der Poel, Wout Van Aert, reunited on the road, renewing their rivalry, and with just less than 60 kilometres to go, making the race at Erdrie Press Harelbeke. It's Mathieu Van der Poel. It is Narvaez. Kung is there. Oh, and he's down. You could just see Wout Van Aert losing grip, losing balance. Wout Van Aert is down, and getting going from that again on the Paterberg is almost impossible.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to take one monumental effort here for him to get back on there. What happened was Van der Poel came in, Van Aert was on the left-hand side, but Kung swung in front of him. Van Aert tried to go right to get around him, but just lost it on that bit. But Van der Poel.
This is a horrible hill. It's short, but it's steep. It is hellish. Lascano was up there with 7 seconds going on to it, and now Van der Poel is sailing away from him. Up the biggest gradient, his big rivals at the back, contrasting fortunes for both of them, and the race now is on yet again. It's Paterberg advantage to Mathieu Van der Poel, and as we now go to the Quaremont, it's everything to do, and almost a miracle required for Wout Van Aert. Alone at the front of Harelbeke is Mathieu Van der Poel. He's finished second and third at this race, Adam.
Kirsch, then you've got what looks to be Van Aert just bridging back across that group. Fred Ryan is wheel jumping across to Alaphilippe.
This is Mathieu van der Poel with a World Champions jersey on his back. They line the road left and right, and Van der Poel pedalling away. And listen to that. It's the sound of spring, and the gap to those behind him is increasing. 32 seconds and counting. 32 seconds and growing. Van der Poel could well be putting them to the sword here. There's a long way to go. There's a lot of riders behind, but the gap continues to increase. Is there going to be reaction? Vettel here. Van Aert is doing a good job though. Look at that, another few seconds out the gap. You talked about the time trial differences between the two. Maybe Van der Poel more explosive over those steeper climbs and the shorter differences, but Van Aert, we know that he's got the strong engine, hasn't he? He's a real diesel when he gets going and when he gets up to full speed. There ain't much stopping him. He's taking it down to 20 seconds here.
13 seconds, he's getting close to this headwind. Van der Poel on the radio as well. Van Aert's just got to do what he's got to do. Let's not forget this man crashed on the Paterberg, but he's wheeling slowly but surely the world champion back in. He's got him in his sights, he's close. A little look over the shoulder there, Van der Poel as well. Free ride, Van Aert, 11 seconds now. Another climb coming.
There's quite the story brewing here. It looked like Wout Van Aert was out the game on the Paterberg.
Cross headwind, Rob, all the way down to the finish. So just a little look there, and it is a cross headwind all the way down to the finish. This direction for pretty much most of it, and then a left turn with about 10k to go into the centre of Kortrijk. When they turn, they'll still get the sort of cross headwind, head crosswind. 16 seconds, still holding.
Sections, 40 seconds is being shown on the chalkboard. 125 back to the next group. Difficult place this, isn't it, now for Van Aert, because he's seen that gap. He probably knows what's coming in terms of not being able to win the race unless a miracle happens. The rainbow is shining across this parkour in the shape of Mathieu van der Poel. Mathieu van der Poel's father, Adri, came third, came second here. Van der Poel himself has been third. Last year was second, but he's back, he's done it. And finally, Mathieu van der Poel, after another classy performance, has done the business. We salute you. Van der Poel across the line. He ticks off another, and one of the biggest classics in the world has now been added to a perfect palmarès.
It's good to see Biniam and Girmay in here. And again, you know this climb, Robbie. Just to look how hard those cobbles are. Riders finding it hard to even pick a line here.
Well, that's the other thing I was going to say with this climb. They are rough. They are proper cobbles.
They are Wout Van Aert piling on the pressure. And this group is being torn asunder. The gap continues to grow. It is 31 seconds to the next group on the road with 87 Ks to go. But look at Lescano, the Spanish champion. He has been a revelation, Robbie, over the last 18 months, this man. Won just a couple of weeks ago as well, and we saw him perform well on the Classics. Although we've still got over 2 hours of racing to go, we're getting already a glimpse of who's got the good legs. This is the front group. We've got a lead of 20 seconds on the group behind it, as you can see. The remnants of the lead peloton now at 47 seconds. But the man on the back, as we were just pointing out, is Laurens Pithy.
Oh, look at Van Aert, the pace over the Hotons.
Yep, big injection of pace. Just look at the fluidity in his pedalling there. The others are labouring a little bit. Lascano struggling to hold on here. 76 Ks, guys. This isn't the finale. It feels like we're racing a finale. It really does. I'm on the edge of my seat. The race has exploded, spread all over the Flemish Ardennes. I'm absolutely loving it. Looks like Van Aert's putting in an attack here, despite being with all these riders and having them. Well, Pithy straight out of the back, but he's got to make sure he doesn't panic the younger rider here. Lascano, you can just see his body language there. Just the amount of power he's having to put through the bike to stay on the wheel of a flying Wout Van Aert. Wellens looking comfortable. Unfortunately, the young New Zealander has been dispatched. The front of the race. What a performance it is so far from these three riders. Three minutes is the gap for our three leaders out in front. Lascano, the Spanish champion, in second position for Movistar, just rolling past the man on the inside in the white of UAE Team Emirates. That is Tim Wellens. And just getting a gel down him, fueling up for this finale, is the favourite from this group, it has to be said. Wout Van Aert, third place yesterday in the opening classic of the season on Loop Het Nieuwsblad, just behind, a couple of spots behind his teammate Jan Tratnik. It's looking good for Team Visma Leasebike to do what they did last year. And a good kilometre or so behind, or way more than that in fact, Group 2 on the road, still Pithy, Mohoric and Matteo Jorgensen. Is the race favourite Wout Van Aert, them Tim Wellens? How's this going to pan out? Do any of them have the courage or indeed the legs, Robbie, to try and go? And here, great move here.
Yes.
Here we go.
I was just going to say that. I could see Wellens just... his body language at the back looked like he was setting himself for something. Lascano on the front, and exactly what I said before, trying to get Wout Van Aert, just maybe caught behind Lascano, and he went the other side of that roundabout. But look at the reaction, so swift. 3 pedal strokes, and Van Aert is in the wheel.
And the Spanish champion for Movistar just dropping off at the back there. He's winding up for an early move. He goes, he's telegraphed it slightly. Van Aert glances across in a lower gear, fights to get back onto the wheel of Lascano, but in the slipstream here is Tim Wellens. This could be an interesting one, but Lascano is winding this up super long. Van Aert gets back onto the wheel. This is a proper track sprint. Lascano winds things up. Steering in the wheels though is Wout Van Aert. Wellens, big acceleration now from Wout Van Aert, but Wellens is there too, but I don't think he's got enough. Wout Van Aert is going to take this one for the first time in his career. Wout Van Aert takes the win in Kuurne, Brussels-Kuurne, ahead of Tim Wellens.